When I hosted a retreat in Italy this year, there was an interesting question that came to us, and it sort of became the theme of our retreat. Before we started the retreat, we wanted to create something around self-expression. We wanted to invite people to be their most authentic selves. And so the theme of the retreat was self-expression. And there was a question alongside that theme that came with us. And the question was powerful. It got us into great conversations, and it really helped us to open up to each other individually, between person to person, but also in the group. And the question goes as follows: in what way have you held yourself back from expressing your true self today? And I think it's a wonderful question, because there are many ways in which we, on a daily basis, hold ourselves back from being our true selves. Maybe we had someone say something to us that we didn't like, and we actually wanted to say something to them about this, but we didn't because we were afraid that we might hurt them. We were like, oh, they must have not meant it that way, so I'll swallow this. Or maybe we felt like eating a piece of cake, but there were other people around, and we felt like we needed to appear as though we have this very healthy lifestyle, and so we set the cake aside and we didn't eat it, and instead we ate something else. Maybe we really wanted to share something, but we felt like the people that were surrounding us weren't the right people to share that with, and so we held ourselves back. And these are all examples of ways that on a daily basis we held ourselves back. We don't fully express ourselves because of some kind of fear. And it was a very interesting question. I love the question, because for me, it's very easy to get close to that which I am. I'm very good at expressing myself, and I do that on a regular basis. And when someone asks me this question, I don't have much trouble with answering it honestly, because I've done a lot of inner work. And there's a lot of people who haven't done that, and maybe you haven't, and that's completely fine. Because in this video, I wanted to touch upon how to be your true authentic self. And there's this question that is sort of the similar as the question that I asked just before. And it goes, what is something that you don't want me to know about you? What's something that you don't want me to know about you? And it's such an interesting question too, especially to ask in a coaching scene. And I've asked this to my clients, and I love it because there's two answers to this question, right? There is the answer of, I actually don't want you to know this about me, but I'm comfortable enough to share it. And there's the answer of, I actually don't want you to know this about me, and that's why I'm trying to come up with another example of an answer that I would be comfortable enough sharing with you. And I'm always trying to look for this one, but people always give me this one. And it's funny because I can recognize that, because it's completely me. Most people in this spiritual scene, they find it very easy to open up about things that seem vulnerable, right? Things that other people would see as, oh, that was so vulnerable that you shared that. Wow, I love that. And so we get away with not sharing the actual stuff that's going on, and that we rather not have people know about us. And the more we become comfortable with these parts of ourselves that we can't even accept, that's when things are going to start to change. Life will become way more effortless. It will start to feel free. And so this really taps into that question of, in what way have you held yourself back from expressing yourself today? And I'm inviting you to think about that for a moment. In what way have you held yourself back from expressing yourself today? In what way did you prevent yourself from not being yourself? Like, in what situation did that happen? Like, think about that. And pay attention to what comes up. Pay attention to the things that you're saying in your mind as to why it was a good thing that you didn't. I was in a conversation with someone yesterday, and they told me about a way they had been holding themselves back from expressing themselves that day. And they also told me why that was a great thing. Like, they really needed to do that. And they made it into a very inspiring story. Even I was like, oh, wow. Like, I almost bought into the story, right? Because it was such a good story. And it made me realize there are thousands of good reasons as to why we should prevent ourselves from being truly ourselves. Because else we might get into fights with people. We might trigger people unwillingly. We might have them not like us anymore. Like, that's dangerous. We might end up becoming completely alone and lose all of our friends and the people that like us when we start to truly be close to ourselves. And so these are all good reasons to not be, to wear that mask, to hold yourself back from expressing yourself. And partially as to why I got good at this is because of that coaching, right? Basically, people pay me to hear the things that they'd rather not hear. And it's a joke I make, but it's actually true. It's very much related to having that skill to tell people the things they actually don't want to hear and being fine with that. And I didn't just get there like that. Like it's not in my personality to do that. I've considered myself introverted for a very long time, and I really didn't want to trigger people. Like, I am a recovering people pleaser. Like, let that be let that be clear. Well, to finish off that story about the client that I talked to and the reasons that he gave, we're very good at protecting ourselves from being hurt, because we think mentally that we're getting hurt. And so a good question to ask yourself is, what are you afraid of? What are you believing to be true about the world that makes you prevent yourself from fully expressing yourself? What do you believe to be true about this world that makes you not fully express your true authentic self? Like, what are you afraid of? Why do you believe it's a good thing not to fully express yourself? And sit with that. And you can write it down, you can journal on it, you can think about it in your thoughts. But go with me here for a moment. Why is it a good thing for you to not fully be yourself? And it's a very interesting question to lean into. And it's very brave if you're willing to lean into this, because you're going to find parts of yourself. You're going to find your beliefs, right? This is the shadow work that we're doing. And to finish the other thread I created, I used to be a people pleaser, like big time. And I have to thank my dad for this, because he made me aware of this. He taught this very directly, because he literally told me, stop people pleasing. Stop people pleasing. There's these things that come up where sometimes people would ask me to do things and I did them even though I didn't want to do them. And I just did them because I thought I would get in trouble, because I thought people wouldn't like me otherwise, and all these things. And now I'm not talking do your homework, because do your homework. Like, we've got obligations, or so we say. We created these obligations, right? So, but there were tons of moments where I had to make a decision and I acted based on what I thought people would want me to do, and not on what I actually wanted for myself. And something that helped me there is this very easy question: what do I want? What do I want in this situation? And it's difficult to radically change this. And in every situation to be like, okay, what do I want? Oh, I want this, and now I'm going to act upon that. Because that's scary, right? We have this belief that if we only do what we want to do, people are not going to like us. We're going to be lonely. We're not going to be enough. All of those bullshit beliefs. But they're there, right? And we got to deal with them. And so for me, the thing that helped me big time was just to ask that question: what do I want? And then to consciously make the decision to either people please, because it made me feel more safe, or to shift my belief and go the other way and challenge this belief. And so there were times where I very much realized I was people pleasing. But because I thought it was so difficult not to, I did it. And I did it consciously. I got out of the habit of people pleasing. And that's the thing, because the definition of a habit isn't something you just do regularly. It's something that you unconsciously do regularly. Smoking for people is usually a habit, because they'll become aware of the fact that they're smoking once the cigarette's already halfway finished. Right? That's when they become conscious of what's happening. And then you're in a habit. And that's what happens with most people who are people pleasing. We people please, and afterwards we're like, fuck, I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? And this really taps into boundaries, and I'll create a video on that too. But the best thing you can do here is to get yourself out of that habit. Out of the habit of not authentically expressing yourself. And you're already out of the habit, not by not doing it anymore, but by doing it consciously. That's when you've transcended the habit, because it's not a habit anymore. Then it's a choice. And sometimes it's fine to make the decision to people please. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is really what gave me my power back. Like, I'm not just people pleasing because I'm a victim and because I need to do that, else I'll be liked. But I'm people pleasing because I choose to do that. And I'm well aware of all of my limiting beliefs, yet I'm human too, you know? And this really became powerful for me. And this question, in what way have I helped myself back from expressing myself today? In what way have I helped myself back from truly authentically being myself today? Really helped me to become conscious of the fact that I might be people pleasing. It made me conscious, and it made me go throughout my day with the question in the back of my mind. Like, right now I am holding myself back from truly expressing myself today. Do I want that? Am I choosing to continue with this behavior? No, I'm not. I'm fully going to express myself. Or, yeah, I am. And I don't know how to change that. And so that's fine. I'll journal on it later. And that's what growth is, the awareness of. And so I hope that right now you're watching this video and you did something with this question. Like, please keep it somewhere in the back of your mind, because it's going to get you out of the habit. And that's the important thing. And just to say it once more, because it is important, getting out of the habit doesn't mean that you're not doing the thing anymore. Getting out of the habit means that when you're doing the thing, you're doing it consciously. That's what it's about. And so this question helps you to do things more consciously. It helps you to consciously decide, yes, I am holding back from expressing myself in this current moment, and that is fine. And that's great. And from there, you get to work yourself into becoming more truly authentically yourself, because you ask yourself the question, if I am not truly expressing myself the way I want to express myself in this current moment, then what would it look like if I did truly express myself as myself? What would that be like? And if I were to do that, what am I afraid will happen? What do I believe to be true about the world that makes me hold back here? And that's when things are going to change. You'll start to get way closer to that which you truly are. And it's amazing. I can't stress it enough. I'm not even stressing it. I can't excite it enough. If this is something that you feel like you want to expand on, if this is something that you want to transcend and work on consciously, send me a message. I'm inviting you for a free coaching session right now. Let's sit down for an hour. And I promise you'll walk away with more clarity and confidence and authenticity. I promise you'll walk away with a feeling of, I'm ready to face the world as who I truly am. It's such a freeing feeling, and I want to give that to everyone, and that's why I'm inviting you to. So send me a text on either Instagram or connect with me on LinkedIn, Migretjes on Instagram, Migretjes_, and talk to you soon. I'd love to spend some time together.